Hi again, guys. So we are back to the listing that we have just created. At this point, you should have done the photo section. So you should have photos taken, selected, and edited. So you should have all your photos ready to go. They should also be organized. You should have your cover photo selected. You should have top 5 photos selected, and all of your photos should be organized based on the space type. You should also have the listing file, the Excel file with the listing details. That should already be ready and filled out. So now we'll show you how we organize the listing after we have photos and the listing description file fully filled out. So back to our listing. The first thing that I need to do is add additional language. I'm going to be doing this listing in 3 different languages, but for most of you, English is sufficient. So over the time, Airbnb has gotten much better with the translation. So you can probably only do the listing into one language, but this is old habit. We do it in 3 different languages. We've already done this way. So I'm going to be doing this in 3 different languages. If English is only language that you need to use, don't worry about other languages. Just stick with English. Just ignore the other parts. First thing is we need to add the language. So after we've added the languages, now we can see the titles in three different languages. Before we get there, when I was creating this listing, the photos were not shuffled properly, so I have to adjust the positioning of the photos. So let me do that first. By the way, these photos are not edited yet, but for this demonstration, they are sufficient. I will edit them later and make changes as needed. I'll speed this process up. It will take me a few minutes, but you have to basically drag and organize your photos. So let me just quickly do that and we'll jump forward. So I have organized these photos. At this point, we should have gone through the organization process in the photos video, but I'll go through it again just so that to give you a reasoning behind how I select the photos and why I select the photos. Obviously, depends on the apartment and depends on the type of photos you have. But in this case, I'll walk you through the specific apartments and the specific photos that I have here. Um, Again, keep in mind at this stage while recording this video, the photos are not really edited. So, but I'll fix that later. So usually, if the apartment has a balcony with a nice view, we use that as a cover photo. If not, then the safe bet is to use is the bedroom. Usually you want to hang a photo on top of the bed, which we're going to do and update the photo later. The best part of this apartment is the view from the front windows. So we have that as a top second photo. Then we show a living space with the couches, and then we show a kitchen. It's very important to have a kitchen in top 5, and then we show this more living space. This photo is good because it shows the full picture, and it looks like the apartment is spacious, which is it's quite big. It's not too small. After that, we go into spaces in order. Usually, first thing is the bedroom. Second thing is the living room. So all of these are ordered as a living room photos. Then we have a kitchen photos. They are ordered. Important thing to pay attention to in the kitchen is that you want to open your drawers, and you want to show what's inside the drawers. The pots should be visible, microwave should be visible. Here is a free coffee station. Um, I mean, we don't do fancy coffee brewing or anything. We just basically an Nescafe coffee. But regardless, we have coffee and spices, which is nice. And lastly, this photo is not ideal, but it shows the fridge. So some people, if you're staying for a long term, the fridge size of the fridge is important. So we want to make sure that we show that our fridge is pretty large and good for a couple. And then we show the bathroom from three different viewpoints. And lastly, there's additional closet space, that an entrance. It's always good to show additional closet place. With that, we're done with the photos. Now we are starting adjusting listing title and all the listing details. You should have your file ready to go. So at this point, it should be as simple as just copying and pasting everything. In the video where I was creating this listing, it would not let me add more than 32 characters in the title, but in reality, it does let you 50. So we can have a proper title here. I'll also give an internal name. It's good to always use an internal name. It helps you or be a little bit more organized, and lets you differentiate when you have many listings. So next thing is listing description. So again, it's important to utilize first 6 lines here as it shows on the front of this Airbnb listing. And I will show you how it looks in the end. Then we have space. Space is the longest one. There's no character limit on the space. You can see that on the description there's a character limit up to 500 words. So use your space carefully. So when it comes to space, you can see we are allowed to do more. It does allow this type of emojis. So this is a good placeholder until you get proper emojis from your phone, which I will show you how to do it. You saw these messages here and corrections. This is done by grammar tool Grammarly. As you probably already know, English is not my first language. It's not even my second language. So I have to use tools to my advantage. And so Grammarly is the one tool that corrects my grammar. I have to fix my spelling. Apologies for that. We'll skip that part for now. Next section is guest access. We've already filled this out as well, so we are going to copy and paste. If you don't have this information available, go back and watch the video where I go through my Excel file that contains all the listing descriptions. So work on that first, have your listing descriptions ready and available, and you can just copy and paste from there. So here you can see that I had some emojis inside my other details in English, and it gives me error message saying that this is not allowed. So right now I'll just use a placeholder, something that is all allowed. These black emojis are allowed, and then I will know that I have to replace the placeholder with actual emoji through my phone. One thing I should mention here is that you can only edit emojis to the main language. So if you're doing 2 or 3 languages, you won't be able to edit emojis to second or third language. From your phone, you can only see one language. So I will only be able to edit emojis to the primary language, which is English. Something to keep in mind. So let's take a quick look on how it looks on Airbnb. So doesn't look too bad. A little bit of editing, making these photos a little bit lighter. I think we got a shot. And now you can see what I mentioned by first 6 lines. You can see the first 6 lines is the ones that are shown on the listing, even without opening or pressing the show more. So this is the space that you want to utilize the most. Otherwise, you can open them more and you can see space with nice bullet points. You can see guest access, which is smaller, and then you can see the check-in information. So one might argue that this is too much information, but it's actually only bullet points, so it doesn't take that much time to skim through it. And once you have emojis, it captures your eyes and you can see where to stop as a guest and what information to pay most attention to. Okay, we'll go back to the listing. Next section here is number of guests. Make sure you have proper number of guests. And then we also have a custom link. You can edit a custom link that you can copy later. So listing status. This apartment is already listed. I actually need to close the calendar. So let me quickly do that. I'll close the calendar so that no dates get booked, since the apartment is not fully ready just yet.